Hello everyone, welcome back to the world famous Backcast. This is episode 61. My name is Matt Miller. Tonight we have Gregory Lloyd.
Hello.
We have Nathaniel Bauman. I'm sorry. We have Nick Carlo, Colorado's favorite dirtbag.
Hello.
And to round out the rest of the gigantic cast, we have Zachary Barberin. Greg, I'm sorry I didn't call you Mr. Riot Man. I will do it next time.
I forgot that was my name. But
If you're watching this show, you've come for consistent news updates. You've come for our technological prowess of knowledge. And, of course, our just hilarious banter that we do. We are a show that has many...
You come for a good freaking time.
Thank you, Nick. Well, don't most people? So, Zachary Barberin, tell me about Bitcoin. Bitcoin just blew up today.
Let's talk about it.
What did it get to? All-time high.
Bitcoin reached like 1650 today, I think. But I think that the talk in general should be more about cryptocurrencies in general, because they all did really good this week.
Well, why are they doing well all of a sudden?
I don't know right offhand. Actually,
I think it's speculation. I think it's all this Trump business.
I think that a lot of it has to do with that, but also Litecoin, which is like number 3 right now. Because there's Bitcoin, which is like the most well-known, most popular, and then there's Ethereum, which is like number 2. That Ethereum has there's a bunch of good buzz around Ethereum right now.
Okay, so
and then Litecoin, which has been on the scene for a little while, but Coinbase, which is a big exchange, they just added Litecoin, and so I think that has a lot to do with today and just this past week.
So before we get into the specifics of why these are doing better than they were before, why would one person want to buy cryptocurrency when there isn't really a real reason for demand other than demand exists? You're not buying a good or a service or something.
Okay, it's all
you're
hype.
buying
Is that kind of what you're saying?
It's basically the same thing as me buying a gun on Counter-Strike or me buying a microtransaction thing. It's something that does not exist, is what I'm saying.
Oh, it does exist.
It's the promise of you think it's going to be worth something for a long period of time.
I mean, does Microsoft Excel not exist? You know what I mean? It's just like a code.
It is, but you use Microsoft Excel as a software program to solve your problems.
Well, I mean, yeah, the idea behind Bitcoin is it's just like a totally. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really understand it that well, but I mean, basically, it's like a incredibly long code of random sequences that is impossible to recreate, and that itself is what's creating value. It's like
that
creates its own thing. Yeah, it creates authenticity exactly. I mean, it can't be done again.
I thought the whole reason for Bitcoin was just to buy drugs off a Silk Road or something like that.
That has a lot to do with Bitcoin blowing up the way it did, but it's just the idea is that it's a decentralized currency that that it can't be manipulated by people's by a bank or by a government sitting in office
but China
somewhere.
is no longer a currency manipulator, so we're good, right?
that's what they want you to think.
No, that's what they want you to say, and then all of a sudden, 10 years from now, it's like, oh no, China was doing it the whole time.
Oh, now we're China.
But I mean, that's the idea: is that it's a digital, decentralized currency that's based off of some mathematical protocol that you can't there's no recreating it or anything like that. It's just based off of really complex math, and I also think it's interesting because cryptocurrencies are designed to be like real life mining in the sense that when they first start, they could be mined by regular computers. But
so by mine, you're saying it comes down, the ability for your computer to be able to mine something comes down to how much processing power, RAM, whatever your computer has.
Yeah, because it has to solve these complex mathematical equations. But it's meant to mimic how mining is during the gold rush, where people could just go out with just a fucking they could just go pan for it, versus as it gets further along, it starts requiring capital.
Except for the fact that all of a sudden there'll be another big ore deposit that might pop up somewhere, and it'll lower the value of it. Right?
But it doesn't work. The general idea is that and in the beginning, it's pretty easy for just regular computers to mine it. A lot of people did that with Bitcoin, and just with their laptop would mine Bitcoin.
Do you know if who set the supply of Bitcoins? Was it done by some certain creators and the rest of the existing Bitcoins that have come out? Are those a result of mining, or was 1,000 made and they're just dividing it into different?
They're not necessarily made. They're mined, but I know that it's all set with the protocol, with the actual the code Like there's a set amount of Bitcoins that will ever be able to be mined. And I think it's the same with
You actually know that
Ethereum
number?
and Litecoin and Litecoin.
They must know that number.
I'm sure they do. Yeah, I'm sure they do. I don't know what it is. We haven't reached that point yet.
That's another.
But no. The positive to it is that you can't just print more or create more Bitcoin.
It sounds like you can.
So it's actually no.
Can it be manipulated? The original programmers or somebody who created Bitcoin, couldn't they just be like, I just want 40 more? Why not? Why can't they do that?
The government does that.
Yeah, the government does that, but that's the point. Bitcoin with the protocol, it doesn't operate that way.
Maybe like the mathematical computations it has to make, or just
there's just some. There has to be
But
something there.
but the point is that it's not. It's going to be more of a. It's not. It's more of like deflationary. So like as time goes on, there's going to be Bitcoin that will be lost. Just like people today that they're like, fuck, I had a fucking, my last hard drive I had 100 Bitcoin on there, that didn't realize that Bitcoin was going to blow up the way that it was.
But wouldn't your Bitcoin just be available
No.
through a cloud?
You can download it. You can download it onto like a thumb drive. You can download it onto anything. And if you lose that, then it's gone. So like most people
and paste it to. You can't right click.
Yeah,
copy.
but if you
No.
on
your thumb drive into another one.
No, you can have multiple thumb drives that have your Bitcoin on there. But people that had Bitcoin on like their hard drive that didn't make any copies, didn't back it up or anything like that, and then they lost that hard drive or they got rid of that computer. Like there's a lot of people that were just like,
There's so many
what
things
the
about this, I
fuck?
just- it's like when you download the really good stuff on Kazaa and then you lose the hard drive. It's just
so
Can you imagine that though, having like 100 Bitcoin and then you just like. You're just like, what the fuck? I had 100
Would
Bitcoin.
you have sold today if you still had your Bitcoin that you?
Probably. I probably would have sold a while ago. I did sell a while ago.
Yeah.
But man, the idea is that you wanna just hold for as long as possible.
I mean, this is just I'm thinking about investing in Bitcoin, but this is just me talking out loud.
I would go for
Thinking out loud.
Ethereum, really.
Oh, but either way, I mean, cryptocurrencies in general. Just speaking in general, I mean, do you feel like these things like hold its value well enough? Because I mean, like
Only if there's a
feel like-
demand for it.
I feel like so
for
many
some
people are
reason.
just waiting until like a moment like this. Like, I'm going to.
I
As long
do
as
think.
there's a
Well,
subreddit.
I do think that there is a lot of speculation, and yeah, Bitcoin literally went from like 1650 today, and like right now it's at like 1550. So yeah, it kind of went up and down, but like 1650, like Bitcoin hit its highest peak ever today, which I think is pretty cool and exciting. But I do think that a lot of it does have to do with speculation, and I'm not an expert on cryptocurrencies, but I think the technology itself is super applicable to like the entire finance sector, because it kind of decentralizes it to where you could have these different types of exchanges. You could have these different exchanges that can be done without going through financial institutions. And so like I think it's going to completely revolutionize like smaller countries and stuff, to where like
Well, you have a currency that isn't run by a company,
a government.
a government, or a group of governments.
Well, and maybe
it's just run by a pure market. I mean, I guess it's capitalism, and it's.
But is it like that's what I just don't know? I'm just not like I feel like there's just program. Like I would need assurance that there's not programmers that are not artificially inflating or deflating the supply of Bitcoin at any moment. Just because I don't understand that completely. But if that is the case, that is the coolest thing about it. It's not going to be. It's impossible to be regulated, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's really exciting though, and plus it's just fun. It's fun to invest, even though it's gambling at this point. And I do think a lot of it is speculation. It's still pretty cool to see. Like I'm invested in Ethereum right now, and Ethereum also hit its highest peak today at like $95, which like when my friend told me about Ethereum was like literally like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, and it was like $20. And I bought like maybe $40 worth or something, but I should have bought way more. Like a buddy of mine put in like several $1,000s like when it was at $20, and so
you can play that
that's
game
pretty
with
sick.
anything. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that.
that's true. But I just feel like I'm a believer in the technology, and I think that that the technology is going to be applicable to a lot of different things, and like just the way that I imagine the future, like it's going to be super useful because you'll be able to have transactions that are like super fast. It'll be like almost like Venmo, but to like a lot more serious of a
Well, it has to
degree.
be on your phone, right? You're saying it has to be just on a hard
Everything's
drive.
gonna be digital. I mean, this is a perfect digital.
See,
currency.
that's the thing. That's the thing that fucks me is I'm like, what would happen? But I guess the same thing would be said about any other currency. Like, what would happen in some type of apocalyptic kind of scenario?
Yeah, well,
I guess the same thing could be said about every other
It'd
currency.
be like
but,
goats or something. Like
but yeah. So I mean, you could say that about every other currency. But it's interesting thinking about currency though, because it's all worth whatever people think it's worth.
I know, isn't that cool?
It's the weirdest concept.
It's such a weird thing to think about. That it's like money is especially like American dollar. It's like it's because the government says it's worth something, and we believe.
Literally, it's a fucking slip of paper
and
that the government's like, we'll back this.
Yeah, we got it.
In some sort of apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic scenario, how much Bitcoin you have is the least of your worries.
That's true.
You
Mine's
know?
my virgin goats. I want to make sure they're safe.
Your virgin goats.
It's still virgins.
it would still be fine in an apocalypse, though, as long as you had a way to transfer information. Even more so than just dollar bills, because it's like, oh, that country's not a thing anymore. Bitcoin was never a country or a...
But I think that's the thing about Bitcoin is I think people are still using it as like a store of value, as like an investment, when really it should be used more as like a currency. And like that's the goal, is to get it to where the point is where you're not thinking about like, oh, I want to buy Bitcoin so I can turn around and sell it for American dollars. The idea is that to hold on to Bitcoin to where Bitcoin is worth more than the American dollars, and you're buying things with Bitcoin, and you'd rather have Bitcoin than you would American
I want
dollars.
to see like Warren Buffett back it or something. Somebody at that sort of level.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at, but I'm pretty sure Elon Musk is kind of behind it.
Elon Musk is on the forefront of basically fucking everything.
I
Right?
will
Yeah.
sell you 1,500 Bitcoin for 3 pounds of Coke.
That's a terrible.
Coke
deal.
coin.
15. What do you say? 1,500 Bitcoin? That's like so much money. That's like.
Oh God.
So be like, sold. Okay, so before we close this topic, I just googled types of cryptocurrency. There's a bunch of them. I'm gonna give
There's
like
a
all you
fuck
guys
ton.
2 or a couple of them, and you're gonna tell me which one is not real. Okay, ready, Greg? Prime coin, name coin, house coin.
Namecoin.
Name coin is real. House coin is not. Oh, you're right. Okay, all right. Nathaniel?
Oh.
Litecoin,
Real.
Pure coin,
Real.
Ripple coin.
Fake.
They were all real. Fuck them. All right, Nick, you ready?
I'm ready.
That's cheap. Okay.
NXT,
Fake.
Monero,
Fake.
and Dogcoin. DOGECOIN.
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 That was a big Reddit meme.
100% real.
Is Dogecoin real?
Yes.
Why is Dogecoin?
I don't know. It was like a meme. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. And Doge.
can't be taken seriously because
What
they
the
could just be fucking.
No.
just scratched
Dogecoin
this-
is weird because it's a fucking straight up meme. I'm pretty sure they had like a Kanye West coin at one point.
So you're saying you could make me
All right, Zach, last one. You ready?
fucking big?
Yeah.
You ready, Zach?
Sure.
Zcash,
1,500 Bitcoin is $2.4 million.
Gridcoin,
That's still less than
Platecoin,
would be
and
a
Potcoin.
I haven't heard of any of those.
Platecoin was the fake one. All right.
No, hey, but before we close this out, I just want to say that, like, you know, I do like that idea. I like the idea of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general, and I think the technology, the blockchain technology, is going to be applicable to so many different forms of industries, I guess, in general. I think security is supposed to have a huge application. Just the whole cryptography is like a huge field, but just the whole notion of it being more deflationary than inflationary. It's like, do you guys know about Zimbabwe? I think we might have talked about this on the podcast.
I think at one
before.
point I said fuck Zimbabwe, and then I cut the end of it.
What about
Fuck Zimbabwe. Everyone understands.
Zimbabwe, they have literally.
Is insane.
They literally have like $1 million bills, and they do their fucking their fucking dollars are worth nothing, like, because they just keep printing more and more money. And so like that concept of Bitcoin being decentralized and the fact that you can't just like print more Bitcoin, that's pretty cool. Because then you think about, like, if you have a Bitcoin now, in fucking 10 years, Bitcoin might be worth like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 or more. Who knows? So that's kind of a cool concept versus like if you took a fucking dollar bill right now, or took like $100, or even you took $10,000 and you just put it in a safety deposit box and just let it sit in the safety deposit box for 100 years. In 100 years, 10,000 American dollars is going to be like, because of inflation, 10,000 American dollars is going to be like, people are probably making that fucking hourly in 100 years from now.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Should we go back to using pennies and nickels? Should we switch over to Potcoin? This is part 1 of episode 61. When we come back, we're going to talk about things that we're bad at. I found a girl on the internet. She has a nice little blog. She said 50 things I'm bad at. I'm going to see if you guys can guess them. And I'm just going to tell you her background and where she lives. It's going to be great. Thanks, Karen.